Good evening. Today we're talking about percents greater than 100. So let's get right into it. Let's look at estimating. To estimate an amount that is greater than 100% of a whole, think about how the percent relates to 100. 100% of a whole is the whole. 200% is twice the whole. 300% is 3 times the whole, and so on. Notice our ... here. Just like when we have repeating decimals, if you want to think of it that way. So we have 100% of the population, and there are 8 little ants here, or bugs, actually not really ants. 200% of that population would be double that, and 300 would be triple it. So if you can visualize this picture, it will help you a little bit more. Now, our first example wants us to complete each sentence using the tiles at the right. 200% of 1 is how much? Let's see, I'm doubling 1, so 200% of 1 is 2. That would be less than 10. Okay. 125% of 25, let's think about this. 100% of it would be 25, and 25% of it would be a quarter of that, which would be a little bit more than 6. It would be 6 1/4 actually, right? So that's less than, it's greater than 10, but less than 100. Okay. I'd like you to finish these up, and then we are going to go over them. Okay. So, do you agree with any of these? Or I should say, do you agree with all of these? If you don't, do me a favor and put a star so we can discuss them tomorrow. Some of these were tricky. For example 2, which is the best estimate for 350% of 20? Let's think about this. 300% of 20 would be 3 times 20 would be 60. 50% of 20, which would be half of 20, would be 10. So in total, I have 70. So that would be which choice? That would be choice C. And notice how I'm splitting it up. I'm doing 300%, then I'm doing 50%. I'm using the distributive property there. Student A says that 200% of 1 is 2, which we just proved a few minutes ago. Student B says that 200% of 1 is 200. Which student is correct? Like we just said earlier, student A is correct. Of 1, I double it, is 2. Okay? 200% of 1 is 2 because 200% is 2 times the whole number of 1. For this next visual here, this is a little bit different than your notes. I decided at the last minute to change it. Calculating percent is greater than 100 the same way we calculate other percents. Okay? So let's cross out what we have, and let's write this down. Remember this, the part equals the percent times the whole. Okay? So my part is what I'm looking for. My percent is 130%, or 130 over 100, times 800. Now, I did my math right here. Look at that. 100 goes into there 8 times. 130 times 8 is 1,040. If you look at this visually, if you have a number, okay, 800 is the whole, you have an extra 30% of that. So you have 100%, and then you have an additional 30%, which took us to the part being 1,040. So let's look at our example. A study found that alligator population this year is 120% of last year's population. If last year's population was 60, how many alligators are there? So let's write our formula. Part equals percent times whole. The part, what I'm looking for, is going to be left as y. 120 over 100 times the whole. Last year was 60. Okay. Now, I have tons of different ways I can simplify this. I'm going to simplify these zeros here, they're gone. We'll divide the numerator and denominator by 10. Same here, I can do 10 goes into here and leaves me with just a 6. So 12 times 6, 72, and we are dealing with alligators. Do this simplification that I did up in here whenever you can. It will make it so that you don't have to, number one, use your calculator, number two, it'll make you a little bit speedier. Okay, it'll give you more practice with your numbers. The more practice you get, the better you'll be. During the harvest, a cranberry bog is flooded with water to a depth of 4,800% of its usual depth of 1 inch. How deep is water during harvest flooding? Well, let's do our part equals the percent times the whole. So I'm looking for the part. Oh, my percent is huge. 4,800 over 100 times, 1/4. Oh, a fraction to deal with. Let's do my simplification, and this will be a piece of cake. That's completely gone. 4,800 divided by 100 is 48. And 4 goes into 48 12 times. Okay? So I have 12 times 1 is just 12. And my unit was inches. The last example we have here, 96 is what percent of 12? So remember, we have the part equals the percent times the whole. The part is 96 right now. My percent, some number over 100 times the whole of 12. So I'm going to multiply both sides by the reciprocal, 100 over 12, because that makes the 100 cancel here, and the 12 cancel here, so if I do it to the right, I have to do it to the left. Okay? Doing a little bit of math again. I know 12 goes into 96 8 times, and 100 times 8 is 800. So it was 800, don't forget this represented a percent because I put it over 100 up in here, 800%. And that's the conclusion of this video today. Have a great night, I'll see you tomorrow.